Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Liana, and today we're going to talk about makeup mistakes and how you can fix them without having to remove anything, like with makeup remover, starting all over again. I only practiced a little bit of the eyeshadow yesterday. Everything else I've never attempted before. So this is my face after, and this was my face before. Hopefully I did an okay job. I think I did an okay job, and that's what matters. And without further ado, here is how to fix things. Okay, so obviously I do look much different than normal in terms of my makeup style. We're going to try and fix all of that now, starting with the face. I don't know if you can tell, but my foundation is quite a few shades too dark. And we're going to start there. And obviously I've applied blush quite heavily on top of that as well. We're going to start with trying to take down the orange that's going on here. First thing is first. I'm going to apply a little bit of my concealer to the back of my hand. You can also use a lighter color of foundation. And if you're trying to darken something, obviously you're going to use the opposite. You're going to use a darker color. And really what I'm going to do here is take that on a sponge and just start stippling that kind of over the top. If you don't have a lighter color on hand or a darker color on hand, then I would at this point recommend grabbing a powder that's lighter or darker, depending on what you need to do, lighten or darken, and start bringing that onto the areas you need to start matching through the rest of your face. And this is also going to tone down the blush that I've applied too heavily. On the areas where the previous darker color is kind of really set down, I'm rolling like this, and I'm finding that that's helping to kind of remove the previous layer and make it look a little less blotchy. So now my face looks quite a bit better, and I still have a little bit of blush on as well. So I guess we can move on to the eyes and eyebrows. Or actually, let's do the lips first while we're still zoomed out. So the lips are a little darker than what I intended to put on, and also the lip line is not super crisp. So how do you correct a color that's too dark as well as clean up the lip line? What I tend to do for cleaning up the lip line is again take a little bit of concealer and an angled brush. So an angled brush kind of like this, one that's not too flimsy. This one is thicker. And you want to just kind of go over the edges where See, there's like little bumps and stuff. And just start drawing a little crisp line. And then I usually just take my finger and dab it out. Now in between this, the brush can get a little bit dirty with lipstick, so make sure to wipe it off on a tissue. And then go back in with a little bit more concealer. And see how this side of the mouth is already starting to look much nicer. Now see how I accidentally smudged a little bit of lipstick on my upper lip? So I'm just taking my concealer sponge and dabbing that away. As far as lightening it, I'm just going to take a lighter color of lipstick. I'm going to go into this little lip palette here with a lip brush. This is the Profusion Lip Palette in Rose. I'm just drawing that right on top. And you can either leave it in the center as an ombre or take it all the way out to the edges to lighten the whole thing. It's not a huge difference, but it's enough that it doesn't look quite as dark and saturated as before. You can also pop a little bit of shimmer on top, and that will lighten it too. In fact, I will do that right now so you can see. I'm just going to take this pink shade from the Alchemist palette. And that kind of lightens it a little bit more. So now we're going to tackle the eye situation. So let's start with the eyebrows, which are obviously drawn on with a pretty heavy hand. Now this is done with pencil. If you drew it on with powder, this is going to use basically the same step. Pomade is a little trickier because it sets down a little bit more. And I have never used a pomade, so I'm afraid I can't speak to how you would fix that. But if you're using powder or pencil, then you can try this. I am taking a Q-tip, and I'm going to start smudging this out. Once I get to the point where I can see that it's starting to smear around a bit, I stop. And I take a little brush to clean that up. And we're going back in with the little bit of an angled brush and concealer just around the edges a little bit. This will look like more now than what it'll be once it's all blended through. Take your spoolie And that cleans it up a lot, doesn't it? And then you just go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. I am shedding brow hairs. Fun stuff. And again, once you get to the point where it looks like you're just smooshing around some product, just kind of brush that away a little bit. Take a little dab of concealer. And your spoolie. And there we go. For the eyes, I haven't put on mascara yet because I want to show you what to do if you mess up your mascara. But for the eyes, so I have packed on a lot of very dark eyeshadow, and I blended it up fairly I put it up fairly high, and I didn't blend it out properly. So we're going to go in and do that now. Number one, that's step number one. And this is just going to soften what you've already put down. It doesn't take much at all. The product is already there. You just have to blend it. That took what? A minute tops? So that is done. The winged eyeliner is not even. This one is going out this way. This one is tilting up a little bit this way. What you want to do to fix that, I'm just going to lightly scratch off the tip of the wing with my spoolie, and it's going to look really smudged for a minute, and that's okay. I'm going to take another Q-tip I'm just going to kind of buff that away. Because the point here is that we're not going to actually use any makeup remover to erase what we've done. Once I've gotten off about as much as I can with that, I'm just going to take the smallest dab of my concealer on the tip of my concealer sponge. Right there. And it's like it was never there. And then all I have to do is redraw my wing in a slightly more upward angle to match the other one. And again, if it doesn't match 100%, that's okay, but I just want to try and get the angle a little bit more correct. Of course, took this moment to not cooperate. And that is pretty close, so now this lid shade, if it turns out that it's still too dark for what you want, even after you've blended it out and made it a bit less harsh, let's talk about how you can lighten that as well, kind of like what we did with the lip color. Shimmers are a girl's best friend, or a guy's best friend. Let's put a little shimmer on top. I'm going to take this shimmer here from the Modern Renaissance palette. I also really love having shimmer in the inner corner, which was lacking before, so I'm just going to pop a little bit of that right there. And as I discussed, I waited to put mascara on so I could show you what to do if you make a mistake. So I'm just taking my Wet n Wild Max Volume Plus mascara. Let's say you're going along, you're putting mascara on, and oop, that happens. That happens to me all the time. Because I'm careless. Just keep putting the rest of your mascara on and don't worry about it. You want to make sure that that is fully dry, so just kind of lightly tap it. Does it seem like it's dry? It should come off fairly easily. Some formulas are better at this than others. It depends on how wet it is. This one, unfortunately, is a little bit wet. So it did leave a tiny smudge, but again, that's no big deal. And it's gone. So I will zoom you back out again. So this is what the face looks like after we have fixed everything. I think it looks a lot more wearable now. Of course, if you liked it the way that it looked before, you could wear it that way too. I hope that you found this video helpful. This was a request by my mom, and I just thought that some of you might like it too. So, at the end of the day, hopefully it was good. I do post Mondays and Fridays here on this channel. Every once in a while I will post on a Wednesday as well, but usually just Mondays and Fridays. So, that was it for this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.